Yay, the thrill of the chase. Yeah, I wouldn't have been that interested, but I saw this thing on TV about Forrest Fenn and his treasure, and it was a newscast about someone who died looking for it. So I jumped onto this a little bit late, but when I read the poem on the newscast, it said the home of Brown, and I was thinking, damn, Molly Brown lives over in Leadville, and Brown Canyon's the best rafting in the world. And they're talking about putting in and all these things. It sounded relevant. So we went ahead and drove over the pass so that we could find it if it was just right an hour away. And tried to cross this river where we had seen that one of the streams was completely filled in, like a mudslide had come in and it was filled in. So we thought that was heavy loads, water high. And tried to cross the river with a little dinghy, a little inflatable thing, and we were two of us, me and my girl, and our little paddle was flipping over the part of the paddle that is the paddle was spinning, and we were spinning and didn't know it was downstream, so we bailed, went and figured out how to get up the other side by crossing a bridge and then going up a train track on some bikes. It was very stand by me. It was awesome. We had a ball, brought the boy, and you definitely want suspension bikes to go over train tracks. So I was looking over at the kids, and they were just on one had a hardtail and the other had no suspension whatsoever. So we switched bikes to make it easier. Anyway, we had a great time. At one point, we saw a big rock structure that looked just like a fire, and we're like, well, there it is. It's got to be just under there. So why don't we sit down, eat some lunch, and enjoy being poor for another few minutes? And then when we couldn't find it after a few attempts over there, I went ahead and bought the books, which are helpful. I discovered that, yeah, it's up in Yellowstone. It's 600 miles away where his plane would fly. He goes there all the time. He knows it well. He's been in every little trail over there. So he knew where he wanted to hide it when he even thought of the thing. We also got up there and got some maps. We saw some stuff. Google Earth is great, but these maps really help. And being there, we saw Earthquake Lake, which was super cool. It was used to be a river, but then one night in the 50s there was an earthquake, and the mountain fell in the way of the river, which turned it into a lake that flooded everybody. The night of terror, no place for the meek. Some of these rhymes started to make sense with this. You got to be brave and in the wood. This lake is surrounded by, it's just filled with all these dead stands of white, ghostly trees that had been, just flooded out. Their roots got flooded, but now they're still standing there like an old, creepy graveyard. And so at one point we hiked up at the end there. The end is drawing nigh. We went up that creek to the right. There was a nice deep pool where the road cuts it off, and went up that because Fenn said it was wet. So we've been looking in some of those creeks. At one point I brought a boat up all the way to Yellowstone on the roof of my car and paddled across to get to another stream on the other side of Earthquake Lake that I wanted to check out. Was towing my little dog and a friend behind me in another boat, and some other hunters were, did you see the grizzly up there? No, we were up there yesterday hunting and saw, he was little. Anyway, so we're lucky to be alive. But since then, we've gone up a couple of times. We've gone up and looked down below where the Madison River starts there, with the Gibbon and the Firehole come together at the junction there, and gone downstream, crossed that mighty river with like waders on. We figure waders were waiters, heavy loads, water high. I've schlepped those waders around, and they are heavy. So we crossed the river and looked up those streams on the way. And I've even put in that boat where he said, and floated down past the Baker's Hole campground, and where he said it was too far to walk, and saw some really cool buffalo there. I've hiked that rim, looked at a million of those little streams, and thought maybe the beaver dams were the heavy load water high, that you couldn't take your boat up those streams because they're blocked by beaver dams, right? So there's all these my daughter thinks that Forrest Fenn's little FF that he puts in places might be what the blaze is. If there's a tree and it's carved with a little FF that you see in the bottoms of these things. She thinks that that'll be the blaze. But, went down past the dam above Earthquake Lake and looked at Cabin Creek's got a nice little thing. Beaver Creek. A couple of those creeks are far enough away from the road that and up Cabin Creek, there's a big mountain stripe that comes down to the valley where the stream is, and it's. I thought that might be the blaze, so I kind of explored that and found a pack of bullets, really big elephant bullets, 12 of them in a pack that was animal chewed. I thought it was a wallet at first. I looked at it, and this animal had snaked the bullets out from under the hunter and snuck it away. So yay for the animals winning a little story. Anyway, there's all these little wonderful elk antlers we've found because we go off the beating path, and it's just been wonderful. But I think we got to figure it out. I was coming back down. My daughter, she was in the car, and I'm like, you win set every time. No one can beat you at Catan. You're a genius. Figure this out. And she was looking at the maps. The maps are actually really handy to grab them and to be there because you see little signs of little trails and little we're going to go back. We were about an hour from home after driving 12 hours. We wanted to turn around and go right back up there, but we're going to go back up there and go collect this treasure. But I just wanted you guys to know a little bit about our solve and what we're working towards. At one point we thought down the canyon might mean south, not downstream, right? So at the fire hall, we went down map, but we're real close. We're working on it, and we're gonna find it. But this is just some backstory of why we got involved and where we've looked and where you might look. I've gotten a few friends involved too. One looked up brown trout when I told him that, and he's like, "It is capitalized," and oh my goodness, it was introduced to the west in the Gibbon and Firehole rivers just up above. So he really believes that's the home of brown because he Googled it and that's what he got. And so we think we're right in the area and in the creek. Kind of want the treasure, man. That thing's beautiful. Look. All right. Until next time, thanks for watching.